All right. So we are in Megillat Ruth, Perek Daled, the last chapter, on Pasuk Gimel, the third Pasuk, and we are in the midst of what I would consider the best chess game in the Tanakh, where Boaz was setting up the board, was setting up the people, the pawns, and was ready to make the move. In a more realistic way, he was sitting in the center of town, in where the Sanhedrin was sitting, in the plaza where the Sanhedrin was sitting, near the well that years later David loved the water in that well, and he sat down 10 of the elders of the town, and he was teaching them the halakha that was became public recently, that you can marry an Ammonite and a Moabite woman, not a man but a woman, because they can convert, and right before that, the Goel Adam, the relative that was his uncle, basically. The gentleman was Tov. Here is mentioned as Ploni Almoni, as John Doe, because he was not behaving as he should, so we don't print his name that way to not to embarrass him. But there were three brothers, Salmon, which was the Boaz's father. There was Tov, who was this gentleman, and there was Elimelech, who was the husband of Naomi.
What was his indiscretion?
He did not want to marry Ruth.
Oh,
that was his indiscretion. And just to set up the scene, there were three brothers. They inherit from their father a big field, a big plot, and they split it three ways, and each one of them took a piece. So Elimelech took a piece. Elimelech died. Now Naomi was in charge of that. Tov took a piece. Ploni Almoni took a piece, and Salmon, the father of Boaz. Shalmon, why am I saying Salmon? Shalmon, I think, passed away. So Boaz was in charge of his piece of the field, and the plot of Naomi of Elimelech was divided further into two. What happened is when someone get married, they get a ketubah, right? And in the ketubah, the ketubah is a contract that the husband is entitled for whatever his wife produces, in exchange of taking care of her if they divorce or after he dies. So Elimelech died. So she got the value of her ketubah in that field. But she didn't get the entire field, because there was another claim on the field. The claim was Ruth. Because Ruth married the son of Avimelech, right? Elimelech. And he also died. And he also gave her a ketubah, and the ketubah is guaranteed by whatever the husband has, down to the real estate, down to the shirt of on his back. But they didn't have no shirts; they barely have backs. So the only thing that was left was that field. So when Elimelech died and Machlon and Kilion died, they split the field. A piece of it went to Naomi on account of her ketubah, and a piece of it went to Ruth on account of her ketubah, because they were both widows.
But there were two
At what
sons,
point
so-
did that happen?
Well,
At what point did that happen?
right after they passed away. As soon as they passed away.
So somebody's holding that in trust for them.
So when they weren't in town, Boaz was taking care of the field while they were not in town, but then now they're already 3 months or so back in town, so they got their piece back, basically. It was after the harvest, right? It's at this point they're entitled to it. You know.
When Ruth started gleaning and taking did she know that she was the owner of the plot?
So she knew that she's owner of a field. She didn't know that she's owner of that field. She was wondering and fell as a coincidence, or בהשגחה פרטית rather, onto that field. But you know that was her field essentially. Now, even if she knew it's her field, she was not entitled to the everything that was the harvest over there, the produce of it, because Boaz took care of the field while Elimelech was away in exchange for the produce. So the produce was his anyway. Anyway, so now Naomi came back with Ruth, and they had no money. Ruth decided that she has to sell her plot. She has to sell the piece of that's all she had. She didn't have any 401k or anything, you know. So that was her pension. So she needed something to live on. So she decided that she's selling her piece of land, and she decided, and therefore, and she took steps to announce that it's for sale, and she got a real estate agent or whatever it is that they were doing those days, and it was ready to sell. Ruth was told by Naomi not to do that. You don't sell. You only sell to someone, you know, you keep it so someone will want to marry you. Naomi was older. She was beaten up. She lost everything. She wasn't interested in remarrying. Ruth, however, was interested, and this is a great, it's a great dowry. It is something, you know, she's not coming empty-handed. So she kept it. If you marry me, you know, I'm coming with this plot of land, with this field, you know, and otherwise we sort of don't part ways. We don't, I'm not splitting the field, you know, I'm not selling the field and remaining with nothing. So that is the backdrop. That's where we stand right now. Boaz is sitting in the center of town and is ready to make the move. And so the board is 10 elders. Tov, who is the uncle, the remaining uncle, who is the closest relative and the one that can redeem the field, and Boaz. So Vayomer Lagoel. So Boaz is making the first move. Says Chelkat hasadeh asher leachinu leElimelech. The piece of land, not the whole sadeh, not the whole land, just a piece of it. The piece that belongs to Naomi. He's not mentioning anything about Ruth. The piece of land that belongs to our brother Elimelech. Now, he's not a real brother to Boaz. He's a brother, he's an uncle. But it's a matter of speech, you know. I mean, I would consider my uncle a brother sometimes. We're very close, you know. So that's a normal way of talking. She sold Machra Naomi. Now Machra, she didn't really sell it yet. It was up to sell. She made up her mind to sell it. Why we can't say that she actually sold it? Because the law is that if someone sells the land, the relative cannot redeem it until 2 years passed. The buyer is entitled to hold it for at least 2 years. They bought something, they have to enjoy some of it, and after 2 years, the relative can redeem it. So we don't have 2 years here. I mean, we were talking about a couple months, few months of the harvest, or 3 months of the harvest. So it's not that she sold it, it's that she meant to sell it. So מכרה נעמי השבה משדה מואב. So Naomi, who is coming from the fields of Moab, destitute, poor, hungry, doesn't have anything other than that field. So she decided to sell. Now, so what does Boaz say? Now, this whole, let's just a little bit of an understanding of this whole thing of selling and buying the field. Buying the field of a relative. Why is it a mitzvah? Why are we allowing? Why is that a priority? So there are different explanations. There is one explanation that is connected to what's called Dina de Bar Matzah. Dina de Bar Matzah is the following law. If you have two people that own adjacent fields, and one of them is wanting to sell, the other one, the neighbor has the first right of refusal. Why? Because obviously when someone have a big lot that's adjacent, that's connected, it's worth more than two same size lot which are not connected. It's easier to build a bigger building on it. It's easier to work it with the same set of tools, with the same set of workers, obvious. So it's called Dina de Bar Matzah. Very strong, very interesting din. And it cuts us across many different aspects. One of them is this. The plots were given by God to each individual tribe and to each individual family. So by definition, if we are family, your field is next to my field, the way God set it up. The original idea was that it should remain as much as possible within the same hands, within the same family. So I have the first right of refusal because my field would be next to yours, and if you want to sell it, or if somebody passed away and the field is up for sale, it's better to offer it to the family. This is one part of it. Another part of it is, and we'll put that sort of in the back of our minds, I don't know if we'll get it today, to it today, but there is the whole idea of the Yovel. The Yovel is after every 50 years, right? 7 times 7 Shmitot. After 7 times Shmitot, after 49 years, the 50th year is Yovel, and in the Yovel, we reset a lot of things. We reset, all of the slaves are going free. All of the loans are being settled, are annulled, nullified.
Jew and Gentile slaves? Or just Jewish slaves?
I think just Jews, but I don't know. I have to check. And the land is going back to its original owner. Very similar in the olden days in Israel. There was
the original owner or the previous owner?
The previous owner, which is.
What if the land was sold?
So it goes to the original owner.
To the original.
Original owner, yeah. To the original family. The point is, in Israel, there used to be this thing that you can buy something for dmei mafteach, key money, that it's not really yours, but you have the right for it, for 99 years or whatever, turnkey. So it used to be more common.
No, key money is something else here. Key money is more like a deposit.
Oh. That's not deposit, no.
Yeah.
So it's worth about 1/3 of the property, whatever. But it's
So would the original owner have to pay to get the land back?
So when it's sold with that in mind. If you sell something and it's worth $1 million, but next year is the Yovel, you're not going to pay $1 million. You're going to pay, $20,000.
Like you only have a leasehold.
So
You only have a leasehold.
It's all exactly. It's almost like
Discount.
a lease. It's a discount, right? It's a lease. So people calculated it, based. It's prorated, exactly, prorated. So let's put that in the back of our minds because it's going to come back in a big way soon. Anyway, so he's presenting the problem to the Goel. He's presenting the problem to Ploini Almoni, to Tov. He tells him, we have this field, the field that belongs to Naomi, used to belong to Elimelech, and she's about to sell it. V'ani amarti, and I'm saying, and this is the amazing move here. It says, I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you inside information. I'm going to give you inside information that this is happening. It's not, public knowledge all the way yet. She made up her mind, but it wasn't, the Tribune, it was not published yet. So it's not everybody knows about it. I'll tell you in your ear, I'll tell you, this is the situation. And now you have the opportunity. You have here a Beis Din, you have witnesses, you have public knowledge, you can do it in a public way. Lemor kne neged hayoshvim v'neged ziknei ami. So you have the people who are sitting here, it's the court, it's a public place, because what's happening is when you sell something, nowadays too, you do a deed search. You want to see title search. You want to see if there are liens, right, on the property. In those days, the same thing. Maybe there is a lien and she's selling just to get out. Maybe there is somebody has a claim to it. So he wanted to do it in the most public way. So if someone has a claim, speak now or forever hold. And he set up the whole event, the whole transaction in such a way that everybody can be satisfied. You can't tell me, I'm not sure, let me see, write in the paper 2 ads to see if... No, this is it. This is the paper, this is the ads. We are in the public place. Everybody is watching, everybody is seeing. These are, if anybody had a claim, these people who are sitting here would know about it because they are the elders. They're the ones that are involved in the court. So this is your opportunity. Nobody knows about it now because there is also the price situation, right? Where when someone buys something, they want to get a good price, right? So if you know first about it and she's desperate and you offer X, she'll take it and that's it, and you just buy it. If it's going to go out to bid and suddenly the price go up, it's not going to be a bargain anymore. So this is an opportunity for you to buy it for cheap from a desperate relative that we have. So im tig'al ge'al, if you're going to redeem it, you should redeem it. V'im lo yigal, and then he turns to the elders and speak to them and says, and if he is not going to redeem, tell me, hagidali ve'ed'a, and I will know, and everybody else will know, ki en zulatecha, ki en zulatcha lig'ol, v'anuchi acherecha, v'yomer anuchi gal, because there is nobody else closer than you to the property, and I'm next in line. So if you're not going to redeem it, I'm going to redeem it. Now, redeem is a very strong word, as if, you're redeeming it from some hell that's coming upon it, right? What does the word redeem? The word redeem is
Rescue.
You rescue it from someone else. You're saving it from someone else because it can fall into, another owner, and the Yovel is a Yovel from now, and it's you can have bad neighbors. So let's rescue this whole situation, and you'll get it. Now,
where's Ruth coming in?
that's the chess. That's the chess game. So Vayomer Anochi Egal. So the Tov is saying, bargain, amazing, inside information. I'll take it. Got his checkbook, ready to go. So Boaz tell him, not so fast. Let me just one more piece of information. ויאמר בועז, ביום קנותך השדה מיד נעמי ומאת רות המואביה. So now he says, but there is another piece here. There is another piece, the other part of the field belongs to Ruth, the Moabite. She is the wife of the dead person, and it says Kaniti because he knew, in prophecy, he knew that he will eventually buy it. So he said, Kanita, you would buy this property from Ruth in order to revive or to maintain the name Lakim Shema Metal Nachlato, to maintain the name of the dead person on this plot. So it's not. Yeah.
Let me ask you. Naomi's interest and Ruth's interest, was it in a certain defined parcel, or was it a half interest in the whole thing?
No. It's defined. It's defined. Before the death, it was
a divided interest, not an undivided.
Right. It's now it's distinct. The north field belonged to her, and the south field belonged to the other.
It should have been divided in three, right? There were two sons.
There were two sons. Wait with the two sons. Wait with the two sons. There is intrigue there as well. The two sons are all folded into Ruth. What?
How'd that happen?
Naomi is portrayed as very poor,
Yes.
and yes, she owned the field.
Right.
She couldn't work it.
If you own the field, you can't be totally poor.
It's not liquidity.
It's not. I want you to stay.
asset.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the produce of it doesn't she get?
But no one's
When
working
when
the
you
field.
when you are hungry, you open the refrigerator. You don't take a piece of sheetrock. You can't eat your property. It's you need food.
Why would you work a field that
She
isn't
couldn't
yours?
work the field. She was an
that's what I'm
old
saying. She
lady,
couldn't work the
broken
field.
up.
There were no sharecroppers for her?
There was no. She needed liquid money. She wanted to enjoy. She wanted to go to Florida. She wanted the money. She couldn't. Yeah. She wanted to go on a cruise. She couldn't take the field on a cruise. So anyway, so the story goes here that he basically gave him all the information, but slowly. And the story with Ruth here is very, very interesting. What happened with Ruth? The story with Ruth is that, and we see it from various places here, she originally married the oldest son, Machlon. And then Machlon passed away. And she married Kilion. The younger son took her as a wife in order to perpetuate the name of his brother, and then he passed away. So now she's a little bit of bad news. She had two husbands, passed away, and we know the end of the story that Boaz was married to her for one day, also passed away. She is like So what? What about Orpah?
The boys were dead.
What about Orpah?
Wait a second. What happened to the other sister?
Yes.
So he had two wives?
Yeah, he had,
So
He was married to both of
Kilion was married to both of them
At the same time.
at the same time.
oh, they didn't mention that in the story.
So we have to come here to hear that here.
So you know that she was entitled to half? That's the only
So
way
that's
she
how
could-
she was entitled to half, because
Both of the brothers
both of the brothers share. So I don't know if it's a half or 2/3, whatever. But she was entitled to
The
both.
father gets half, and then the next two get another half.
I don't
So
know.
it's 1/4 and 1/4.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, possible. I think the father gets everything, and then he gives everything to the sons. But the order of death, so he died. So part of his piece went to Naomi, and then the other part went to the two boys. And then one died and gave it to the other boy, and then the other boy died and gave it to Ruth. So,
That's the 1/4 and
so okay, I don't know if it was that divided that way, but maybe. Anyway,
It equals half.
Whatever. Keep going.
so now Naomi, Ruth, as we said, was not selling. the only way to get that part of the land was to marry Ruth, and then you get, as a package deal, you get the field. Now, what's the law? The law is that a field cannot be redeemed halfway. Sadeh lo niga lechatzayim.
Halfway.
You cannot just redeem half of the field. You cannot decide that you just, I just want to buy this, just this acre, but the other acre, where you have the, the garbage, the swamp, that's somewhere, I don't want to.
Two separate owners.
But it still belongs to the family. So, there is this opinion that because it all belongs to the family, it should not be not be separated when it's being rescued, when it's being redeemed. If you want to sell it because you just you don't have money, destitute, okay, so everybody can sell, no problem. But the right to redeem comes as a whole. So he basically checkmated him and says, I have an offer you can't not refuse, because you have to. Now, what is the story with we said, if you recall, we said a long time ago that whenever we say here in the Megillat, Ruth Moaviyah, the Moabite, it's for good reason, because usually you're not allowed to remind a convert, to bring it up. But here, so we said several times, we said a Moabite. So and each time there is a good reason. What's the reason here? The reason here is to tell him that this is a Moabite woman, and you better think twice if you it's a Moabite.
She converted, but
she converted, but she was a Moabite. Now he just taught that lesson to everybody, and this guy, he was not a very learned, very swift guy. He wasn't listening, and wasn't really, he wasn't buying it. He wasn't buying it, and this is the story why he wasn't buying it. He wasn't buying it because there are different levels of the oral law. I mean, where they come from, how, what ranking in terms of how what trumps what. Halacha leMoshe miSinai. This is a halacha that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was 40 days and 40 nights in the top of Mount Sinai, listening to God telling him orally all those laws. Halacha leMoshe miSinai. That's the top. That's if we get that, if we receive that halacha from the reliable source, from the chain of command, from the golden chain, the Jewish chain of tradition, the name of Rabbi Akiva, I heard it from all the from all the previous rabbis until Moshe Rabbeinu, and it's halacha leMoshe miSinai, there is no problem. That this is it. Now, there are some other laws that are fences or laws that the rabbis put together later years in order to keep the community safe, in order to keep a fence which will cause, if it's not kept, will cause some other problems. So those, for example, not allowed to marry two women. The Cherem de Rabbeinu Gershom. It's not even at the time of the Gemara or the Mishnah. It's 1,000 years ago exactly. Okay? So it was a fence that was put, no more. It was allowed for 2,000 years, and then it's not allowed. And it was given an expiration date, which just passed a few years ago. So, unless the rabbis renew it, which they all sort of did by virtue of this is the custom of everybody, of most 90 whatever percent of the Jews holding by this custom. So the custom continues. But if you had a big Beis Din with a authority, with a right authority, and they decide that no, this is not the right decision for this generation anymore, they can reverse it, right? They can reverse the the decision, and from that point on, people will be allowed to do that.
You're saying when this custom came into being 1,000 years ago, they said that this will last for the next 1,000 years?
Rabbeinu Gershom wrote in his decree that it's for 1,000 years, yes.
Why do you choose 1,000?
It was not random. It's like something that like never happened, like what Hong Kong did with the Brits. 99 years. Should have done it for 1,000, right? They did it only for 99. Anyway.
Rabbi Gershom also?
No, 1,000. Now, what happened? So there was all the halacha Moshe Misnai, all the halachot that Moshe Rabbeinu heard, right? And then Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. When Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, we were all very, very sad, and 3,000 of his halachot were forgotten. We spoke about it when we learned Shoftim. 3,000 of the halachot, halacha Moshe Misnai, were forgotten because of the sorrow, and we lost him, and they were lost because there were thousands of others that we remembered, but those we forgot. Atniel ben Knaz, the son of Kalev ben Yefuneh, who was the successor of Yehoshua. After Moshe came Yehoshua, after Yehoshua came Atniel ben Knaz. So he was alive when Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, obviously. Yehoshua was ruling for 28 years, so he was around. And he was a big Talmid Chacham, and he went to work to figure out all those halachot that were forgotten by learning it from logic, from other halachot. And he was able to reconstruct the forgotten halachot, and we have them now, and they're all over all over the halachic world. We have those halachot that some of them were forgotten and were reconstructed by Atniel ben Knaz.
Does it have the same status as...
Or do they have the same status or not? So most say that yes, it's halacha Moshe Sinai. We just forgotten it, and it's really what it and it's the same status. But this and one of those halachot that were forgotten and was recreated, reconstructed, was this halacha that you're allowed to marry a Moabite woman if she converts, that she's allowed to convert. That was one of the halachot. So now the question is it, if it's halacha Moshe Sinai, it's like, what's written, it's like not driving on Shabbos, it is what it is, it's never going to change. But if it's not, if it's something lesser, something that's just attributed to a court of some sort, in a few years there might be a bigger court, and they'll overturn it, and finito. So so some say that he didn't know, he didn't understand, he didn't want to know, he didn't want. And some say that he was super smart and knew all of those calculations and was afraid that in later generations it's going to be reversed, and then they're going to go back and say, hey, you married a Moabite woman. Your kids are not really Jews anymore. They were not supposed to be Jewish. And he will basically destroy his legacy. His kids are not going to continue to be part of Am Yisrael. So that is all of that is going through his mind right on the spot, and is being put on the spot because he has a good opportunity to make a good buck, to get the field next door. He will do a good deed. He's not going to even have to pay much for it. But there is the whole problem with Ruth. Now, on top of it, he has a very good marriage. He's married, and he's happy, and he has kids in the house. And now he'll bring a second woman that is a Moabite, no less, beautiful. And, there's a fight will ensue. And the kids are going to not be in peace with each other. Why does he need a headache? So he thinks to himself, Boaz, listen, you don't have a wife. You just buried her not long ago. Your kids all died. you're an 80-year-old bachelor. Go ahead, go for it. What are you troubling me with this for? And if you are so sure that this is the halacha, go ahead. It's yours. Go, do it. Now, on top of it, there is another halacha, and that is that when somebody is doing a yibum, somebody is taking the widow of his brother in order to continue the legacy of the brother, they must do it l'shem mitzvah. They cannot take her and marry her because, of ulterior motives. They have to do it in order to keep the name of the brother alive. That's the halacha. Now, if they have an ulterior motive, it's not really right to do. So he's telling Boaz, listen, you're a pious guy. You're the head of the community. You're definitely going to do it l'shem mitzvah. You're going to do it the right way. I'm just not that good. I'm not, I'm not at that level. And I'm not gonna do it right. So why don't you go ahead and do it?
So what you're saying is that Boaz worked it out so that Tov came to the conclusion that, or at least in his mind, he was talking Boaz into.
Exactly. That's the best chess game in town. He gave him all the information. He did everything right.
It was a bluff.
But it was a poker game that the best game in town.
But Boaz is doing it really because he has his eye on her.
Boaz has his eye on her. Boaz really wants her.
It's not really l'shem mitzvah.
Oh, now the point is that it is l'shem mitzvah because he knows that he wanted to keep the name of the brother alive. Number one, he knows because he's some sort of a half prophet. He knows Beruach HaKodesh that the brother was destined to bring Mashiach, to bring the kings of all the Jews, and he sees that this is the opportunity, and he wants it because this is a mitzvah. Now he also knows that he is old and he ain't going to be there for long, and he dies that night. He gets married this afternoon, have a relationship with her, and then dies. So he's not. It's not.
What's the moral of that story?
Died with a smile.
No, he dies with a smile, right? Now they're mentioning the commentaries are mentioning that this is very similar to what Yaakov did in our parsha with Esav, where he bought the Bechorah. He bought the firstborn, the right to be a firstborn from Esav. He sort of fooled him. So in general, when you're dealing with a monetary transaction, you're not allowed to fool someone like that. But for a mitzvah, the mitzvah is out there. And, you want to, for example, there is what? Yeah, but he also he sort of led him to say it. He maneuvered him to say Lama li bechora. Yeah, just like he maneuvered Tov here to say, what do I need this headache for? You're the best. I don't know anything. If there is a guest in shul, okay, and you come Shabbos and you walk into shul and there is a guest and you wanna invite the guest. And then there is someone else that wants to invite the guest. So if it's selling or buying something, or you try to sell something to someone, you cannot fool them. But if you want to get the guest, you can maneuver it that you'll get him and not someone else get him. So you'll get the mitzvah because the mitzvah is out there. That's one time that finagling is allowed. So Vayomer HaGoel. So the Goel came to the amazing conclusion: Lo uchal lig'ol li. I'm not going to be able to redeem, to rescue this Ruth. Pen ashchit et nachalati, because I'm going to destroy not myself only. I'm going to destroy my household and my legacy. I'm going to bring someone to a happy family, and who knows what will happen, number one. Number two, in a later generation, maybe this whole halacha is going to be overturned, and now the kids are not good. Now, the fact that this doubt occurred, we see later, played itself at the time of David HaMelech. If you recall, I think we mentioned it at one point, David HaMelech, Doeg HaAdomi, which was the advisor to Shaul HaMelech, was raising this question about David. How come David is entitled to anything? You know, he is the great-grandson of Ruth, the Moabite. And, you know, he should not be allowed to even marry. Forget about being our king. He should not be allowed to marry Jewish, a Jewish girl. So one of the rabbis said that he was at the court of Shmuel HaNavi, and Shmuel said it for sure that you're allowed to. So this, and that story occurred 150 years later or so. So this whole halacha was really brewing, and it was not settled issue. Especially, now when we're talking about Moabites. Who are the Moabites? Did you meet the Moabite? You remember last week we met a Moabite? We never saw a Moabite in our lives. Okay? So it's not a problem for us. Yes, Moabite, not Moabite. Today it's like somebody saying, the Palestinians who are shooting rocks at us all the time, you're allowed to marry this and not allowed to marry that. This is the equivalent. These are the people who were hurting the Jews at the time. Were fighting against us. Were killing us. Were torturing us. And, now you're saying that the convert from that, it's the same level of anxiety. People are not settled with it. It's not easy. So it wasn't easy. The Moabites over there at the time was not easy for them. So, you should redeem it. You should redeem ata et geulati, ki lo ochal ligol. You should do this work for me because I am not going to be able to do it. Now, another reason why Tov, and some would say that was wise of him, he didn't want to marry her, is because he knew Ruth's history with the two husbands. One husband died, the other husband died too. Now you're coming to marry me.
And the third husband.
I don't know.
She marry after Boaz?
No, I don't think so. I don't think she married after Boaz. After three husbands, I don't think.
Why does he say lo chali go
Probably why
twice?
Boaz died.
What?
Lo chali go. Why is he that twice?
Why is he saying it twice? I don't remember. I think I saw something, but I don't remember what it
Lo
was.
chali go. He says it twice.
He said, lo chaligol, lo chaligoli, first of all, because I'm not able to do it, and lo chaligol for the next generations. I think that's what it was. I'm just looking to see if I have something here. Anyway, so that's really where the decision was made. And the rabbi is here already, so I don't want to start the next topic. Just give you an overview, sort of an intro of what we're going to talk about next time. Next time we're going to talk about how the transaction actually occurred. How do you redeem? How do you buy that field from Naomi? From Ruth is easy. Marry her. So that was not the problem. But how do you buy the field from Naomi? So the laws of Kinyan, of contract law, is very, very complicated, but very, very clear in Jewish halakha. There are very specific ways of buying specific types of properties, and we will go through some evolution of how how the contract law evolved throughout the years. Has to do with the Yovel, and I think we're going to start it, so it will take probably a while. So, anyway.
How many more weeks on this?
How many more weeks on this?
On the Megillat.
On the Megillah. I think approximately, let me just finish here.